This is Good Morning Texas.
Good morning, I'm Joey Horta.
And I'm Sharday LeRae. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Do you feel like yesterday was patio weather?
A little too warm for me.
It was too warm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the perfect temperature? Josh, what is the perfect temperature for patio weather?
I'm just laughing that Joey says it's too warm because I know what's in store.
Oh yeah, we
here
know it'll
soon.
get worse.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, it's not triple digits yet.
no.
You know, I think 80s are good for patio weather.
Me too.
And that's what we have on the way for today, guys. We have mid-60s out there as you're walking out the door, though. The humidity a little high. There is some patchy fog in spots. The live radar network picking up on some showers to the north. Otherwise, the rest of us pretty quiet. Now, we will have the potential for a couple of showers this afternoon as we pop into the upper 80s. Notice the numbers on the map say the upper 80s. Don't get deceived by it. It'll feel warmer because of the humidity. It'll feel like the mid-90s this afternoon. And guys, I've got even hotter temperatures on the way. Could even be talking about that first taste of summertime heat. We'll get to it in the 10-day coming up.
Okay, Josh, thank you. From the courts now, today a Bell County jury will decide the fate of a former MMA fighter. Cedric Marks could get life in prison without parole or the death penalty. Marks was convicted of capital murder last month for killing his ex-girlfriend Jenna Scott and her friend Michael Swearingen in 2019. Stay with 25 News. Will bring you the decision as soon as it comes down.
The city of Killeen is continuing to deal with a massive sewage leak this morning. Now, this happened Sunday afternoon near Texas A&M University, Central Texas. In all, 125,000 gallons of sewage spilled into Reese Creek, and that's less than a half mile from the Lampasas River. The city says a broken pipe is to blame, but cleanup is underway.
You know, it's never too early to get a head start. Waco PD wants to help hundreds of kids get the supplies they need to go back to school.
That's right. And our 25 News reporter Nakea Simon is live at the Waco Police Department this morning with how you can help out. Good morning, Nakea.
Good morning, Sharday and Joey. That's correct. The Waco Police Department provided about 1,500 backpacks last year. They also provided free haircuts, dental care for those in need, all thanks to their partners in our community. And they need our help again. The Waco Police Department has begun collecting school supplies, for their third annual back to school bash. And here's the thing, unlike last year, they need clear backpacks, a safety measure that is being implemented for the upcoming school year across many school districts, including right here in Waco.
A lot of school districts are moving to the clear backpack policy, and so that is what we're going to be basically wanting the most of this year are those clear backpacks. No matter how much we give out, it's all just about giving back and building those relationships with the community. Our future's our kids, right? So we want to make sure that our kids are set up for success the start of the school year. And that's as simple as having a backpack and a pencil and a folder and a composition notebook.
School supplies are no longer affordable for many families. This time last year, backpacks increased by 12% to $70 on average. So imagine the price for clear backpacks now that they are in demand. You could drop off supplies right here at the Waco Police Department. They will be accepting those supplies and backpacks and donations by July 22nd. The school bash is July 29th in Richland Mall. Reporting in Waco, Nakea Simon, 25 News.
Thanks, Nakea. Well, still on the subject of school, if you're looking for a job, Belton ISD is hiring. The district is hosting a job fair tomorrow, 1 to 3 at Chisholm Trail Elementary. They're looking to hire teachers, special education and support staff, and much more. Also, Temple ISD hosting a job fair Wednesday. It's happening from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at the administrative building on Santa Fe Way. The district is looking to hire all positions for the next school year, and starting salary for teachers, get this, $52,500.
Temple ISD is honoring a longtime educator. The library at Temple High School will be named after Mary Strube Adams. She worked for the district for 45 years as an educator and administrator. Adams died in 2021. This dedication ceremony is happening tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Temple High School. HEB's hiring. There's a job fair coming up tomorrow. It's happening at the new warehouse in Temple from 10 to 3. Starting pay is $19 an hour at HEB. Benefits include a 401k, insurance, paid time off, and a store discount. You can apply on the company website.
Well, the budding relationship between Dalmatians and firefighters dates back decades, right? But now fire crews across the country need their puppy love and support more than ever. Meet Smokey. Temple and Fire Rescue first introduced us to him when he was just a few months old, but now he's about to embark on a very big role with the department. He's training to become the crew's first ever emotional support pup.
Therapy canines have shown to be beneficial to not just improve mood and morale, but they also help folks manage anxieties and depression.
Coming up in the next half hour, I'll tell you when Smokey will officially step into his new role and how he has already been making a huge difference to the men and women at Temple Fire and Rescue.
Look at him. You never see Dalmatians either, right?
Thank you.
It's so rare.
It's so rare,
Yeah.
and they are so cute.
Yeah, can't wait for that. And meantime, when we come back, two big-name Texas attorneys will be front and center at a historic trial. In about 10 minutes, the role they'll play in the impeachment trial of Attorney General Ken Paxton.
Plus, pressure building ahead of the summer on the state power grid, the latest resignation from the Capitol.
And the sun coming up on what will be a warm day across central Texas. We'll also have the chance of some rain. You need to have that umbrella handy. I'll walk you through that forecast. Have a look at the big warm-up coming up.
Welcome back. You know, driving into work today, I noticed some puddles on the roadways. None at my house, though, so kind of missed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sprinkles here and there for sure.
Yeah, a pretty big downpour that formed actually around 10 o'clock last night right
Okay.
over the city. But if you're on the edge of the city,
Yeah.
didn't see much at all. That's going to be the type of nature of storms that we could see this afternoon again. And with all that moisture around, it really keeps the temperatures down, Joey. I was checking in the records here over the last hour or so, and we've been able to track down how many 90-degree days we've had this year. And Joey, the answer is 4.
Hey, that's pretty good. I mean, I could take that, right?
It's not horrible.
We don't want more.
No, we don't want more, but that's actually the 10th lowest on record by this time of the year. And the average is around 13.5. So we're going around 10 days less than we should be by this time of year. A little bit of a slow start to summer. I say that because we're about to catch up in a big way. Look what's happening as we get into next week. That big blue H coming out of northern Mexico. It's going to settle over the Lone Star State. And this time of year, that means it can bring triple-digit heat. That will be possible by the middle of next week. That's also when you shut off that water faucet. It's not off today, though. Lower 80s by noon, upper 80s this afternoon. It'll feel like the mid-90s with the humidity and a few afternoon downpours around. You can see here on Future Track how that plays out. Again, mid-80s by the time we get into around lunchtime. We'll get into the upper 80s this afternoon. That's when we'll watch for a couple of these spotty downpours to develop. And again, those will have the potential to produce that brief heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and some lightning as they pull through. They'll fall apart rather as we head into the overnight hours, and then tomorrow close to 90 and less rain. And we'll continue that trend on into Thursday. The changes come once we get into next week. So we'll bring in some more small rain chances before that high fully takes over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now I'll step out of the way, and Joey, that's not good. 98 to 99 by the middle of next week. That summertime heat is knocking at the door.
I don't know. I guess we just sit here and take it. Hey,
Exactly.
Battle for Republican nomination moving full steam ahead.
We've got an update on the growing field of potential candidates. It's now 6:11 and you're watching Good Morning Texas.
It is now 6:15, and these are the top stories we're following.
Panic growing across Ukraine this morning. The country is accusing Russia of blowing up a critical dam there. The action is causing widespread flooding and is threatening to displace thousands of people. Russia denying blowing up the dam and claims it collapsed due to damage.
California is looking into whether Florida Governor Ron DeSantis flew migrants from Texas to the Golden State. About 20 asylum seekers landed on a private jet in Sacramento Monday, and that's the same company DeSantis used to fly migrants from Texas to Martha's Vineyard last year. California Governor Gavin Newsom saying the state is considering kidnapping charges.
The field of 2024 presidential hopefuls is growing. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie will launch his White House bid today. Former Vice President Mike Pence will enter the race tomorrow. And North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is also expected to announce his candidacy in the coming days.
Quick check on the weather here before you hit the road this morning.
I'm excited for this patio weather.
Yeah, not going to be bad this afternoon. Mid-60s out there currently. It is a little humid as you're walking out the door. You may encounter a little bit of patchy fog, maybe even a stray sprinkle or two. Better rain chances will settle in this afternoon. While we get into the mid-80s, there's the potential we see a couple of pop-up downpours this afternoon. 87 in Gatesville as we head into the afternoon, 89 in Waco, and in our eastern counties, 86 Buffalo, 87 Nakea, down into the Brazos Valley, upper 80s looking pretty likely as well. You need to enjoy these upper 80s while we can. The extended forecast has some big heat rolling in. I'll let you know just how hot it is set to get next week, coming up in the 10-day forecast in just a few moments.
All right, Josh, Waco police apologizing after a computer error leads to the death of a beloved pet. Police tell us officers were sent to a home for reports of a burglary in progress, but when dispatchers put the address into the system, it auto-corrected to the wrong address. Officers showed up to the wrong house where they ran into dogs. The department says this dog named Finn lunged at an officer, so the officer shot him. The dog's owner took him to the vet, but this little dog died. The department tells us they are sad about the dog's death, and they're vowing to do better by getting the details right. Police are reaching out to the company that makes the computer system to make sure this doesn't happen again. Officers eventually made it to the correct house. No injuries there and no arrests.
From the Capitol this morning, impeached Attorney General Ken Paxton will go on trial this summer, and a very familiar name will be trying to get him permanently kicked out of office. Dick DeGuerin and Rusty Hardin, both famous Texas attorneys, will be presenting the case against Paxton. Now, DeGuerin says given the historic nature and seriousness of the charges, the proceedings will likely be televised.
I hope it doesn't have a carnival atmosphere, but it might have something a little bit wilder than said a state criminal or civil court. I'm hoping that it'll be kept under control and we'll be allowed to present the evidence that the public has a right to know.
The trial rules are still being worked out, but DeGuerin says he expects things to look similar to a standard criminal trial. Paxton is also expected to go to trial no later than August 28th.
Changes are coming to the state power grid. Pete Lake is resigning as chair of the Public Utility Commission. He was appointed by Governor Greg Abbott after the 2021 winter storm. His resignation is effective immediately, but he will remain a commissioner for the rest of the month. The governor says he'll name a replacement in the coming days.
Today marks 79 years since the historic invasion that helped shape the modern world, D-Day. Now, on June 6, 1944, Allied troops stormed the beaches at Normandy. And to this day, it's known as the largest invasion by sea in history. It marked the start of France's liberation from the Nazis and the beginning of the end for the Third Reich. Despite the invasion's success, some 4,000 Allied troops lost their lives.
Apple is breaking into a whole new product category.
In just about 3 minutes, the new device Apple is unveiling and why it's such a big deal. Well, trending this morning, Apple is taking a big leap into virtual and augmented reality. There's a new headset called Vision Pro.
Yeah, look at these things right here. It's
Crazy.
like goggles, you know, to go swimming with. Well, this is Apple's biggest gamble since launching the iPhone more than a decade ago. Price tag for this thing, raising eyebrows, though. Andrea Fugii takes a closer look.
This morning, Apple celebrating what's being called the company's biggest product launch in years.
It's the first Apple product you look through and not at.
Apple unveiling the Vision Pro, a new virtual and augmented headset, calling it their most ambitious product yet. The company betting big that VR is more than just a fad. GMA's Robin Roberts sitting down exclusively with Apple CEO Tim Cook.
You can see, hear, and interact with digital content right in your physical space. And this is a huge idea. And so you can use your apps, and they can be any size that you want. You can immerse yourself in movies, TV shows, sports, and feel like you're right there.
Apple now jumping into a space that Facebook parent company Meta has tried to conquer with its line of Oculus headsets and the metaverse. But the metaverse has created little fanfare, and sales for Oculus products have underperformed. With Vision Pro, Apple is offering higher-end components, better build quality, and more features, including the ability to record and play back 3D images and video.
If you purchased a new state-of-the-art TV, surround sound system, powerful computer with multiple high-definition displays, high-end camera, and more, you still would not have come close to what Vision Pro delivers.
But all that technology comes with a price. The headset starts at $3,500, more than triple what the most expensive headset from Meta costs. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
Apple says, though, the Vision Pro will hit stores next year. In the meantime, when you think about Barbie, you think pink, right? No surprise, the makers of the upcoming Barbie movie painted her entire world pink. But it had an impact on the real world, too. The movie's production designer says that they used so much pink paint, it might have led to a global shortage. You won't have to wait long to see the pink world of Barbie, though. Movie hits theaters July 21st.
Gee whiz.
What are we going to do without pink paint?
That's what I'm saying. Some little girl probably wanted to paint her room pink.
That's true, yeah.
Well, you know what we don't have a shortage of? Actually, we have a whole closet full of them.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's right.
Good Morning Texas mug.
We sure do. And today's winner of this mug is Charles Jackson. Congrats, Charles. We'll let you know you can pick up one of these Good Morning Texas mugs.
Head to our website if you want to sign up to win, kxxv.com. Look for that mug, click it, and then just go ahead and give us your email address. We give them away every day. All you have to do is watch to be a winner. We've also got free forecasting every day.
There you go. And what do you say, paint the town pink?
I guess you could, yeah, if you're Barbie.
Right. Well, listen, rain come in and what? Wash it away. Are we getting any rain today?
Someone is going to get some rain today. It'll be very isolated in nature, so not everyone gets it. Those that do, though, you get a downpour. It cools you off. It also brings some heavy rain, some winds, and some lightning with it. That's what we see this time of year. Really hard to pinpoint exactly who's going to see it, but someone will. You can see out there right now the Clark Roofing Cam in South Waco. No rain in Waco right now, mid-60s. We are dealing with some patchy fog in spots. Quarter-mile visibility in Cameron down to 0 now in Caldwell. So give yourself a little extra time on that morning commute in case you encounter some of it. 81 by noon. This humidity that the fog is will turn into the potential for a couple of those downpours in the afternoon. It'll also add an edge to the temperatures. It'll be in the upper 80s, but it'll feel like the mid-90s when you factor in that humidity. Again, we'll have that potential for these pop-up downpours in the afternoon, some of which could produce that heavy rain, that gusty wind, a little bit of lightning. They all fall apart as we get into the evening and overnight hours, and then we'll be talking about a quieter night ahead. Now, rain chances will go down here over the next couple of days. They return for the weekend, and then once those clear, look at the heat that's on the way, guys. Mid to upper 90s building in as we get on into the middle of next week. We could even string together our first triple-digit day. Summertime is here.
It was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yep.
I'm ready for it.
Much more to come here on Good Morning Texas.
It's now 6:27 as you walk out the door, and we'll be right back.
Connecting Central Texas. This is Good Morning Texas.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Joey Horta.
And I'm Sharday LeRae. Welcome back into Good Morning Texas. Listen, we were just talking about, they say if your hand is itchy, that means you're about to get money. Josh, on the other hand, said, well, my hand's been itching a lot, but maybe that means we're getting more rain.
It'd be nice.
Isn't that? I've got a bone that I broke a long time ago.
Yeah.
And when there's low pressure system coming in, man,
You go.
I feel it right here, Josh.
You feel it
right in
there.
the collarbone.
Wow, look at you predicting.
And you're just now telling me this?
I'm sorry. I got bucked off a horse at 5 years old.
Oh my
and
gosh.
for many years, it would hurt when it was about to rain.
Wow.
I'm telling
it
you, you
hurting
should
now?
consult with me about
So
your
you're going to get up and go do the forecast?
It doesn't hurt, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Well, in this case, your bone's going to be just a little bit wrong today for some folks. It may not rain on you, Joey, but someone's going to get a little bit of rain today. We have enough moisture to squeeze out a little bit of a downpour by the late afternoon. Mid-60s out there currently as you're starting off your day. We'll stay quiet through around lunchtime. It's the afternoon where we'll start to see that potential for a couple of spotty downpours. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, and with the humidity, it will feel like the mid-90s as we get into the afternoon. These temperatures are actually right where we should be for this time of year. Joey, I'm tracking some very hot weather moving in. Let you know just how hot it's going to get next week coming up.
okay, Josh, thanks. Happening today, a Bell County jury will decide the fate of a former MMA fighter. Cedric Marks could get life in prison without parole or the death penalty. Marks was convicted of capital murder last month for killing his ex-girlfriend Jenna Scott and her friend Michael Swearingen in 2019. Stay with us on 25 News. We'll bring you that decision as soon as it comes down.
The city of Killeen is continuing to deal with a massive sewage leak this morning. Now, this happened Sunday afternoon near Texas A&M University, Central Texas. In all, 125,000 gallons of sewage spilled into Reese Creek. That's less than half a mile from the Lampasas River. The city says a broken pipe is to blame, but cleanup is underway. And a community fixture in Fairfield is now closed.
Shutting down the state park could have a big impact on the local economy. 25 News reporter Andrew Lemparski takes a closer look.
With a population of just about 3,000, Fairfield businesses are used to greeting out-of-towners. Just a few miles down the road from the park is Heart to Table, a family-run cafe. Inside, you'll find Kyle Hart, who's lived in town since the 90s.
But this brought people in to find out more about us, and actually brought people that wound up living here.
What he never expected was the gate to the park permanently closing.
I was shocked because I just assumed that the state owned the property.
Texas Parks and Wildlife announced Sunday was the last day the park would be open after Todd Interests declined a $25 million offer to cancel its contract to buy the land. Now, the future of this small town and its economy are in question.
If you can imagine 80,000 people not flowing through here anymore to go to the park and shop in our stores.
Brenda Pate is the executive director of the Fairfield Chamber of Commerce. She says the loss will be difficult.
You know, and with that being said, hopefully the people that do come in to this new neighborhood, they will help out in our town.
Businesses like Heart to Table left to wonder just how large the loss of outside visitors will be.
And our politicians, honestly, I thought were there to represent us, and they have failed.
Even hours after the park closed for good, the feeling in Fairfield is still one of optimism.
I hate it, but you know, Fairfield's going to be fine. They're gonna overcome it.
We'll recover. It just takes a while.
This tight-knit town now looking to what's next.
Andrew Lemparski reporting. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission will be discussing this issue on Saturday. In the meantime, never too early to get a head start. Waco PD wants to help hundreds of kids get the supplies they need to go back to school.
Yeah, and 25 News reporter Nakea Simon is live at the Waco Police Department with how you can help out. Good morning, Nakea.
Good morning, Joey and Sade. That's correct. Last year, the Waco Police Department was able to give about 1,500 backpacks to local kids in our community. They also provided medical and dental care for those in need, along with free haircuts. And this year, they need your help again. WPD has started collecting supplies for their third annual Back to School Bash. And here's the thing, unlike last year, they need things like clear backpacks, a safety measure that is being implemented across school districts, including right here in Waco.
A lot of school districts are moving to the clear backpack policy, and so that is what we're going to be basically wanting the most of this year are those clear backpacks. No matter how much we give out, it's all just about giving back and building those relationships with the community. Our future's our kids, right? So we want to make sure that our kids are set up for success the start of the school year. And that's as simple as having a backpack and a pencil and a folder and a composition notebook.
School supplies are no longer affordable for many families. This time last year, backpacks increased by 12% to $70 on average. So imagine the price for clear backpacks now that they are in demand. If you are interested, you can drop off supplies and backpacks right here at the Waco Police Department. They'll be collecting those items until July 22nd. The Back to School Bash will be July 29th, and it will be located at Richland Mall. Reporting in Waco, Nakea Simon, 25 News.
Alrighty, thank you, Nakea. Well, still on the subject of school, if you're looking for a job, Belton ISD is hiring. The district is hosting a job fair tomorrow, 1 to 3 at Chisholm Trail Elementary, and they're looking to hire teachers, special education and support staff, and much more. And Temple ISD also hosting a job fair this Wednesday. It's happening from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at the administration building on Santa Fe Way. The district is looking to hire all positions for the next school year. Starting salary for teachers start at $52,500.
Temple ISD is honoring a longtime educator. The library at Temple High School will be named after Mary Strube Adams. She spent 45 years at the district as an educator and administrator. Adams died in 2021. The dedication ceremony is tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Temple High School. HEB's hiring. There's a job fair coming up tomorrow. That's going on at the new warehouse in Temple from 10 to 3. Starting pay at HEB is $19 an hour. Benefits include a 401k, insurance, paid time off, and a store discount. You can apply on the company website. Well, therapy dogs are trained to support people in their time of need.
And the Temple Fire Department now has the sweetest Dalmatian taking on a new role. I'll tell you all about him in just a few minutes.
It is 6:40, everybody. Welcome back. I mean, it's impressive to see the downpour that some parts of the area got here overnight, because I was driving through puddles and I'm like, where were these at my house?
Right. I had a little bit of sprinkles on my car, and I was, it rained a little bit.
I was right with you, Joey. Just those showers missing my spot too. I mean, we've been blessed with some good rain here lately, which is good. But now we're going to see it get a little bit more spotty, and that's typical as we head into the summer. But with all the rain we've had, we've really had a cool start to summer, guys. In fact, we've only had 4 90-degree days this year, this year up until this point. That is the 10th lowest on record by June 6th. It's also tied with 2021, but before that, the last time this happened was 07. So you're talking about a pretty slow start to summer. In fact, we should have about 14 days by this point in June. So it's a little slow start to summer, but we're about to catch up in a big way. We have that upper level heat dome that's forming over Mexico. It's been hanging out down there, and it's going to be pulling up to the north, heading towards the Lone Star State as we get into next week, and that will lead to that triple-digit heat possible. So we haven't seen many 90s yet. By this time next week, we could be talking about some 100s getting into the forecast. Here's what that upper level heat dome does. It suppresses storm development. That sinking air stops storms from forming, so it shuts off the faucet. The sinking air also adds to the heat and can lead to multiple days of heat. But the good news, at least in June, is this doesn't set up right away. So you don't get the 108s for 2 weeks straight here this time of year. That's more typical in July and August. Since that's not here yet, we still have the potential for showers today, the potential for a couple of downpours in the afternoon. It should fall apart as we get into this evening, and then tomorrow, even less rain setting up, and we'll continue that trend into Thursday. Now, as that high gets closer to us heading into the weekend, there will be the potential that we see a few disturbances rotate around it, and that will bring the potential for a couple of thunderstorms both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And when it's that warm, you get those thunderstorms forming. They can be strong. So we're watching Friday, Saturday, and Sunday closely. Beyond that, guys, there's that heat. Could be talking 100 as we get into the middle of next week. Right now, I don't have it, but that could change.
All right, Josh, 6:42 now. Waco police apologizing after a computer error they say leads to the death of a beloved pet. Police are telling us officers were sent to a home for reports of a burglary in progress. But when the dispatchers put the address into the system, it auto-corrected to the wrong address. And so officers showed up to the wrong house where they ran into dogs. The department says a dog named Finn, pictured here, lunged at an officer because the officer was in his yard. So the officer shot the dog. The dog's owner took him to the vet, but that little dog died. The department tells us that they are sad about the dog's death. They're vowing to do better by getting the details right. Police are reaching out to the company that makes the computer system to make sure this doesn't happen again. Officers eventually made it to the correct house. No injuries there and no arrests. Well, we are getting closer to the 2024 presidential primaries, and the list of candidates is getting longer.
That's right. Our Washington correspondent joins us live to talk about who's throwing their hat into the ring this week. It's now 6:43, and you're watching Good Morning Texas. All right, well, first you gotta check out this cute pup behind me. It's a sweet boy, right? Well, Timber Fire and Rescue first introduced us to Smokey when he was just a few months old. And now he's embarking on a new journey and is set to make history by helping the men and women who protect us. Take a look. While Smokey is gearing up to enjoy the dog days of summer,
I can brush him and groom him every day.
he's sniffing out one of his most important roles with Temple and Fire Rescue.
He goes with me everywhere. We get up, we come to work. He does have a few certifications already, his Star Puppy and then his Canine Good Citizen.
On his first birthday, Smokey will officially train to become the agency's first ever emotional support pup.
For the groups that we're working with, they want them to be at least a year old to start working on the therapy side of things.
But Smokey's new gig is a leg up from what history tells.
Back in the day, they would use dogs to protect their fire engines, the horses, so other crews didn't come over and try to mess with their stuff.
Today, Dalmatians like Smokey are helping put out different kinds of fires.
Therapy canines have shown to be beneficial to not just improve mood and morale, but they also help folks manage anxieties and depression.
The National Fallen Firefighter Foundation says there are an average of 100 to 200 deaths by suicide every single year. As Smokey's handler, Santos has noticed the difference having a dog around the station can really make.
Some days I feel like he's training me as well, but he's already making a big impact. I'm proud knowing that I get to kind of make a difference with him and with those other members.
He's so cute. Well, look at this. There are around 50,000 therapy canines like Smokey in the entire country. And on July 4th, when Smokey turns 1 year old, he will add to the number and start training with the Central Texas Go Team Therapy and Crisis Dog. So, of course, we'll check in on Smokey to see how he's doing. But I have no doubt that he will definitely be an addition to the team. And
For sure.
Pretty cool. It's a new position.
Yes, really. It's interesting that they started out, the Dalmatians, as the alarm system for the fire truck, right?
Right.
How cool is that?
Yeah, and then now just growing and elevating. But hey, Josh, if people want to go and walk their dogs today.
Not a bad day for it. It's going to be kind of warm, though, and we'll have the potential for a few downpours. I'll walk you through what you need to know as you're walking out the door. Coming up.
Hey, you know what? We're back on TV, guys. We got a show to do here. All right.
Exactly, Josh. To the forecast.
Yeah, and it's going to be a nice day to get outside, guys. Just be watching for some showers, some thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 60s right now. You can see some of that cloud cover on the Clark Roofing Cam in Killeen. We'll have the potential for showers starting after lunchtime. These will be those downpours kind of like what we saw yesterday. Coverage should be lower. A few of us see them. Otherwise, temperatures will feel like they're in the mid-90s. And this is where they should be for the time of year. Normally at 91, we'll call for a high in the upper 80s. Not the case as we head into next week. I'll have the latest on the return of that summertime heat coming up.
With the debt ceiling crisis averted, many in Washington are looking ahead to the 2024 presidential race.
The field of Republican hopefuls is getting more crowded now. 25 News Washington correspondent Joe St. George is live from the White House this morning. It looks like, Joe, some high-profile candidates expected to jump into the race this week, like former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. What would be the benefits of a crowded field?
Well, good morning. You're right. Texas tends to vote conservative in presidential politics, so anytime there is an announcement regarding a Republican presidential candidate, it's very much a local news story. Not one, not two, but three Republican presidential candidates are expected to enter the race, not just this week, but over the course of the next 24 hours. On screen, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, he'll have an official announcement this evening in New Hampshire. Former Vice President Mike Pence already filed the paperwork. He'll make it officially official with an announcement on Wednesday in Iowa. And not to be outdone, the governor of North Dakota, Doug Burgum, is expected to enter the race as well. A crowded field quickly emerging on the Republican side of things. But when you talk to political analysts, whether they're in Texas, in Waco, whether they're here in Washington, they'll tell you for the moment, the race for the Republican nomination has three lanes. Lane one is squarely occupied by the former commander-in-chief. Former President Donald Trump has a 30-point or so lead if you look at Real Clear Politics polling averages. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been in second place. He's in lane 2 for quite some time. Yes, behind former President Trump, but well above the other candidates. And that third lane is really the alternative lane, the other candidate lane. That's the lane that former Governor Chris Christie joins today, former Vice President Mike Pence joins today. And that's the most crowded lane for the moment as all the candidates head towards the next big event, and that's the first presidential debate on the Republican side, slated to happen in late August in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The race is heating up, but what do we know about when Americans will see the debate, their first debate?
Well, I think the most important thing that we've learned over the last week or so is how do you get to this debate stage, right? And we can put on screen some of the qualifications announced by the Republican National Committee. Yes, it will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes, Fox News will host it. It'll be on August 23rd and potentially also August 24th. If the debate stage is deemed too crowded, it'll be spread out over 2 nights. In order to qualify, and this is the most important fact for someone like a former Governor Chris Christie, you'll need to poll consistently above 1% and have at least 40,000 national contributors to your campaign. So fundraising and polling is how you get to the first debate. It's still unclear if former President Donald Trump is going to actually participate in the first presidential debate. We'll find that out later this summer. Remember, debates matter because leaders can stumble, and also a lesser-known candidate could have a chance to shine and really generate some buzz in the polls. So a long way to go still until the 2024 Republican convention, but it's certainly shifting into another gear this week.
All righty, Joe, live from Washington this morning. Thank you, Joe. It's 6:54 now, and these are the top stories we're following.
Former President Donald Trump bracing for possible charges over his handling of classified documents. Justice Department officials met with Trump's lawyer yesterday. It's not clear what was discussed, but Trump lashed out on social media saying how could the DOJ charge him when he, quote, did nothing wrong. And today, a Bell County jury will decide the fate of a former MMA fighter. Cedric Marks to get life in prison without parole or the death penalty. Marks was convicted of capital murder last month for killing his ex-girlfriend and her friend back in 2019. Stay with 25 News because we'll bring you the decision as soon as it comes down.
There's a stinky mess unfolding in Killeen. It started Sunday near A&M Central Texas. 125,000 gallons of raw sewage pouring into Reese Creek, less than a half mile from Lampasas River. The city says a broken pipe is to blame and cleanup is underway. All right, some of us got a little rain here last night, others left out, maybe more on the way.
Yeah, but 80 degrees or in the 80s is not bad for Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, it's really not, guys. Although the humidity will make it feel like the mid-90s. We'll make that clear. But still, for June, that's not horrible. We have mid-60s out there currently as you're starting off the day, and you look at the cloud cover on the Clark Roofing Cam in Killeen. In some cases, we are seeing some fog as well, down towards Cameron, towards Caldwell for the most part. And that fog is a sign we have a very humid atmosphere. That will lead to the potential for a couple of those downpours this afternoon. Lower 80s by noon, upper 80s this afternoon. Notice that feel-like temperature right there. 96. So it is going to be toasty regardless of temperatures that are actually slightly below where we should be this time of year. That's why we call it the heat and humidity that causes the issues here. Future Track shows you that potential for a few of these isolated to scattered downpours. Now, if you get under one of these, very heavy rainfall briefly will be possible. A little bit of lightning, some gusty winds, and it'll lower your temperatures. It may lower you down into the 70s by evening if you get under one. We'll still have the potential for 1 or 2 tomorrow, and then the rain chances will start to shut off on Thursday. We'll bring in the potential for a couple of thunderstorms Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before high pressure takes over heading into next week, and that's going to bring that big-time summer heat. Your 10-day forecast shows you we'll be hovering around 90 the next 2 days. Mid-90s for the weekend, and then heading into next week, here comes the big heat, 98 to 99 by this time next week, guys.
All right, stay cool. GMA's up next.
And we'll see you right back here on 25 News Midday. We hope you have a great one.